First thing I wanted to say is this is going to be an update following my first video that I posted with my infertility story, where I was at. So if you haven't seen that, pause this video, go watch that, because it'll make more sense when you're watching this. So it is Wednesday, September 11th, and 1 week ago today, I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was in, oh my god, I was in so much pain. Could barely breathe. I thought I was gonna black out, I was gonna faint. And so I woke my husband up. Well, first I guess I tried to walk it off. I wasn't sure if this was just my body naturally miscarrying, and so I tried to walk for like 5 minutes, and then like I couldn't even walk. I was clutching onto the walls, and so I shook my husband and I woke him up. I was like, listen, something's wrong, we gotta go to the emergency room. And then we had to get my son up, and so he was crying, he was confused, he was, you know, reaching out for me, and that was probably the hardest thing. That I was in so much pain, I couldn't lift him, I couldn't hold him, and he just, you know, kept saying, "Mama, mama, mama." So we headed to the emergency room. So my husband dropped me off at the ER because he had to, there was no parking. It was crazy. And so I waddled myself into the ER. He went, parked, and got my son out. And I had, you know, I was just in so much pain at that point. I thought my body was going to rip in half. My kitty's up here. If you see, say hi. Hi, YouTube. So I was like clutching onto the podium, being, you know, and they were asking me like 1,000 questions like they always do. And I was just like, get me into a room. So my husband, you know, it only took him a few seconds. And he was right by my side. And so they had me sit down. At that point, there was just like 2 other people in the waiting room, and they were all staring at me because I was like in pain. I was trying to breathe through it. I mean, it was like I was in labor. But they got me to a room, and there was a lot of people that came in because I told them, you know, I have possible ectopic pregnancy, and so they take that seriously. So they immediately attempted to put an IV in me. I have terrible veins, and I hate that I have terrible veins, because in times like this, like, you just want them to be able to like stick you with morphine, and it took 2 people and 4 IV attempts to get a freaking IV in my arm. And not that I cared, because my pain was a lot more painful than a needle in my arm, but I was just more like, let's get the show on the road, get a needle in me, get this juice in me, I am dying right now. So they finally got the IV in me, and they rolled me up to an ultrasound. Usually they won't like tell you anything they know, and she kind of was like, I'm not seeing anything once again. And so I was like, well, maybe it didn't rupture. But she did say that she saw some things that she would rather wait for my doctor to discuss with me. So I got back to the room, and I called the nurse, and I was like, you gotta get my doctor in here. And she was like, hon, we called him right when you came in. He's already in the parking lot. My doctor is amazing. I love him so much. I mean, he got a call at 3 in the morning saying I was in the ER, and he was already, you know, he was there. He just came without question. So he got there, and he came into the room, and he was like, okay, the ultrasound still couldn't see if it was in your tube. We have no idea, but you have a lot of fluid in your abdomen. I'm thinking that you're bleeding internally. So at this point, we're not playing around. Like, I'm not gonna risk anything. I need to go in with a scope and see what's going on, see where this pregnancy is. He told me that no matter what, he would most likely be doing a D&C to clean me out, because I mean, at that point, it was what, 5-6 weeks of continuously bleeding. So he said he'd clean me out. I had to sign off on the fact that if he saw something, if I had ruptured, that You know, I could have even 2 pregnancies. They might have to remove a tube or both tubes. And so I think that was the most like anxiety driving thing, was that I was going into surgery not knowing exactly what I was going to be having done, because they didn't know. So got the anesthesia, got my surgery, woke up in recovery, and I think of all the things that didn't go like I would have wanted it to go, was the fact that when I woke up from recovery, I was like, okay, what happened? What did they find? Am I missing any body parts? And they wouldn't tell me. And I just thought that that was ridiculous. I had to sit in that waiting area until they brought me back to my room for like I don't know if it was actually an hour, but it felt like an hour. I was pretty doped up and everything. But I just kept asking, you seriously can't tell me? You can't tell me what happened? They wheeled me back into the room, and my husband and my dad came to the hospital, which was really sweet. So they told me what happened. So I'll just call him Dr. G, he went in through the scope, and I was bleeding internally, and they found pregnancy in one of my tubes, and it had started to rupture. I still don't quite understand how that wasn't shown on the ultrasound, but I'm not an ultrasound tech, so whatever. So yes, so he did remove my left tube, and he did do a D&C, and they also found a giant blood clot that was like near my pancreas, and they removed that too. So recovery wise, I was really sore for probably the first 3-4 days, and emotionally I had a hard time. It was hard not being able to take care of my son. It was hard. I'm just not the person that is used to having people wait on me hand and foot and asking for help. Like, I have a hard time with that, and I like feel guilty, and I know I shouldn't feel guilty. My family, my in-laws especially, like, they took care of me and my son, no questions asked, and that's how they are. They are amazing people. But that was hard. And yesterday was my first day back at work. I only work part-time. I work 2.5 days a week. That was kind of hard. It was hard because it was actually my first day without taking any of my pain medicine, because I knew I couldn't drive on it or function on it really. So my incision sites were pretty sore. Oh, so what they did was they went in through my belly button and then like to the left and right of it, and they blew up my belly really big so that they could do the scope and really see everything. So that's how they found everything. So my stomach was sore. My throat is actually still sore from the anesthesia, and I've been put under. This is my 3rd surgery, and never have I had it linger like this. And it is just, I mean, every time I swallow, whether it's, you know, juice or coffee or food, soft foods, like, it hurts. And so that's kind of irritating, but I don't think I expected to feel relieved. And before you think that that sounds terrible, hear me out. It has been since the first week in July, I believe, or something close to that, when we found out we were pregnant. And ever since the first blood draw, I've been told that it's probably not going to work out. You're probably going to miscarry. And then it was, oh, but your numbers are doubling. I mean, I've gotten blood taken every 2 days for 5 or 6 weeks. And so I get blood work done, then I have to wait a day to find out if it's good news or bad news. And it's always been different. And then the next day I get blood work again, you know, and it's been exhausting. I think towards the end of it, I mean, we knew once I got the methotrexate shots, like, this wasn't a viable pregnancy, and I thought I was gonna have to wait months and months until my levels went down and hit 0. And although I obviously did not want a ruptured tube, I'm scared about what that means for trying to conceive. It's done. It's over with now. We can move on. I had a glass of wine. It was lovely. And right now it's just about healing and moving forward. And I have an appointment tomorrow with my doctor, so that is going to be really good. I'll probably hop on here again and go through with what I talked about with him, because I have a lot of questions for him. I want to know what this means for conceiving again. I want to know what he thinks is the cause of both of my miscarriages. I mean, I've had 2 losses in a row now, but I also have a healthy son, so it's like, and I have PCOS, and I just have all sorts of questions. I don't know what the answers are going to be. I want to know, what are we going to do differently next time? What can I do that's going to get my body in the best shape? You know, I'm scared. I think what I'm upset about most is that I'm not gonna ever be able to enjoy the beginning of a pregnancy again because I'm gonna be terrified. So that is pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to hop on here, give you guys an update that unfortunately I did have a rupture. And I'm excited for future videos. I really want to make this channel a really cool space. I want to post, you know, my conversation with my doctors, his advice. Sorry if you hear my son, he is really fighting his nap right now. And I want to, you know, post all of the tips and tricks that I'm gonna have when I'm trying to conceive again. That's the last point that I actually want to make, is that I have had so many people telling me what I should be doing with my body, and it's probably the thing that has really ticked me off the most. If I even bring up the fact of I'm worried about what's gonna happen when we try to conceive again, people instantly are like, well, you're not gonna try again, are you? You're gonna wait. You need to wait at least a year. You need to take this time and heal your body and relax, and don't even think about trying to have another. And it's just like, you can't tell me those things. You do not know what is best for my family. And it just drives me crazy that people are so forthcoming with how I should heal or what my family needs. You don't know that. You cannot tell me what is right for me. We have to wait the 12 weeks because I got the methotrexate shots. 12 weeks for my shot. And I don't know if at that point my husband and I are gonna be like, yep, let's try again right away. We might not. We might want to wait 3 more months or 6 more months. I don't know any of those things, but I will know when we're, you know, my husband and I, we will know when we are ready. You don't know when I'm ready, so please don't tell me, you know, that I need to wait. I need to give it a year. It just really, it bugs me. And I'm sure if anybody is watching this and you guys have had ectopic pregnancies, you've probably heard all sorts of things. It was my first day back at work, and I had somebody come up to me, and you know, they hadn't seen me in a while, a customer, and they know I have a son, and they're like, oh, how old's your son? I was like, oh, he's, you know, almost 19 months. And they were like, 19 months? Well, you need to give him a sibling. And I just like, oh, I froze. It was like a pit in my stomach, and it just like gurgled up to my throat, and I had to hold myself back because I'm at work. I can't just go crazy on somebody. But you know, I think and they were an older person, and I think that you get that a lot, that they just don't understand. I mean, it's so common now for people to have miscarriages, and I mean, for me, I don't care who you are, unless you're gonna bring up children or wanting to have children, I'm not bringing it up to you because I don't know what your story is. I mean, everybody has a story and you don't know what it is, and you should always think about that before you say something. It's important. So before you start telling me that I need to give my child a sibling, you know, think about the fact that maybe I'm trying to give my child a sibling. Maybe I've had 2 losses in 4 months and it's not for a lack of trying. So I've just tried to breathe and just understand that they're not saying it to be hurtful. I know that. I know they're not saying it to be hurtful, but sometimes it doesn't matter. It still hurts, you know? So I think it'll get easier as time goes on. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have anything, any questions for me, leave it down below. And if you yourself have gone through this type of situation and you're on the other side of it, I would love to know your advice for me. If there was anything you did, you know, healing wise, getting your body in a better shape, and, you know, gaining back all that folic acid, all that stuff. I'm dying to know. That's why I'm so excited for my appointment tomorrow, because I've got, oh my gosh, he's probably gonna laugh at me. I've got a notebook of questions that every time I've thought of something, I just write it down so that I don't forget. So without further ado, I'm gonna sign off here, guys, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell notification. I'll be uploading weekly at this point, with updates and all of that, and my TTC baby number 2 journey. So you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys are well. Bye, guys.